What's up, y'all? This is Kendall.
I'm Alexis.
Albert.
Wishing y'all congratulations on 100 episodes.
Congratulations on hitting 100 episodes.
Congrats.
Happy 100.
I'm Canadian, so you guys can enjoy converting that because I'm not doing the math.
Confidently Wrong is that podcast.
Their show can be therapeutic.
A lot of silliness.
On point, professionally curated hot takes.
Really nerdy.
But seriously, thank you for keeping me laughing through my commute.
And honestly, everyone ganging up on Savon to get off the center fence and, take a strong stand on some of these topics.
And I can't wait to hear more.
Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong. It's our 100th episode and we have a fun challenge to share with y'all. Since this is our 100th episode, we want to get 100 downloads in the first week. We already told everyone we know about the show. That means we need you, the listener, to ask, tell, or coerce just 3 people to download this episode. That's it, just 3. If you got a significant other, that's 1. You got a work friend, boom, that's 2. The last one, text that college homie that you haven't talked to in a minute and ask them how they're doing, then hit them with a link to our show in Apple Podcasts. Dang, then you got your 3. Enjoy our 100th episode. No refunds on this one.
Incredible!
Hello, gentlemen. Guys, it's our 100th episode. Dun, 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 dun.
100.
Triple digits. This is our Wilt pod.
You gotta hold a piece of paper with the handwritten 100.
Yeah, the 100, the Wilt Chamberlain 100. We'll just take it and
I don't know if it's
Photoshop our
points or
faces
something
over
else.
No,
Hey,
we're gonna put our faces over his thing and
let's do it. We'll that'll be our next social media post.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, hey, 100 episodes is a pretty big deal. I don't know how many podcasts out there make it to 100 episodes. How many of them make it to 20, much less 100? So I feel pretty good about this.
Yeah.
I am proud of ourselves, y'all.
Things don't make it to 100 episodes. They get canceled. And fortunately for us, the only people who could cancel us are ourselves. So we're good.
And
we're
my
not
bar for
beholden to
myself is very low.
sponsors. We don't need ad money. Keep your HelloFresh.
Uh-huh.
Though I would gladly
Secure
sell
safe.
HelloFresh. It seems good. It actually does seem like a cool product.
Oh my god.
All right. So I think we should just reflect on our time here for a minute, just to take stock of where we're at. I think it's important to say, hey, we've done this for 2.5 years now at this point. We started way back in the pandemic, the heart of the pandemic, summer 2020 was when we really got started.
Damn.
We were just babies back then, man.
Pre-NBA bubble.
Yeah, pre-bubble for sure. Pre-Lakers championship. It's Giannis hadn't won a championship yet. It's the world has changed since then, guys. There was no January 6th at that point.
Yeah, January 6th was just some random day in January that you didn't give an F about.
Yeah, but before the foul was definitely playing down. He was but the framework was being laid down.
It was being laid,
priming it.
I mean, well, speaking of babies, though, being babies, and then I had a baby, or Jen had a baby, I guess. But I now help raise a baby.
It's a group effort. It's
yeah.
She was the star. You were like the coach. At the very least, you were a part of
I was a cheerleader.
At the very least, ball boy.
We're doing great.
Bell, yeah, he gets a ring for being on the staff.
Front office.
I don't get the legit diamonds though. I get the fake diamond one. We gained, in the beginning it was me and Mike, and then we got you two guys came in pretty early on, actually, maybe in the first 10 episodes, and then we lost Mike, right? He decided to quit the show a little bit ago, and we're still sticking with it. And then one of the things that I think maybe people don't realize
quit?
is he quit.
Oh, I thought he was here.
I thought he was on high. I thought he was just on mute.
I thought he ran out of stuff to say.
He became a producer.
I've been muted this whole time.
What a bit. That'd be a good
classic.
That'd be a long running bit. We just vetoed him out of there, or muted him out. So, and then I think it's also important to thank all the listeners, right? We've had people come and go. People give us lots of feedback. We started with just one listener. We had my sister on there, and now I think we've got at least 8.
Yes. Whoa, dude, that's 8x, man.
Hey man, you laughing? I have random people from college, from life, who I don't really talk to anymore, who they'll just drop a random thing of like, oh yeah, I was listening to the song. It's like, you listen to this? I'm like, oh
Hey.
damn. You know, some people are just like ghost listeners. They listen, they don't engage on the like, how many pods we listen to it? We don't engage on the social media.
Yeah.
We just listen every week.
And
I'm sure
those
y'all are
hosts
out
have
there.
no idea. They have no
and
idea.
we
we're
still
listening.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, I love the lurkers. More lurkers. Come on.
The lurkers are
join the party.
No, it's been great. And
Nice.
you know, just feedback right from my peers, and like, you know, it's a group effort, right? You know, shout out to Duriel, who we have
Duriel,
a theme,
Bass
like,
Elf.
original theme music that he like made for us, and we had like a real, you know, it was a real process, emailing back and forth, sending drafts in the group chat, giving feedback, really in the lab, making it happen. So it's been fun. Upgrading our mics, like slowly but surely, everyone getting, well, y'all two already got Brian director, but
So when we're talking about upgrader, we're talking about you.
Yeah, me getting a better mic, you know what I'm saying?
Not using the Astros anymore, the gaming headset.
Yeah, you know, I had to move to my my good headphones, the BD Beats, you know. And just right, and we've been, people don't realize that getting out a consistent recording schedule and pumping out episodes like is something that took us a bit to get the cadence down, but the dedication, like Brian, you know, Brian, dedicated.
Am I dedicated? Well,
you went across. You brought the mic across the world.
Okay. I have actually,
literally across the world.
Yeah, I've gone to the exact opposite corner of the world. 15-hour difference. Still brought my mic. Prepared for a podcast whenever necessary. I made space in the luggage just for it.
When I moved to Detroit, I was recording out of just a motel room with just all my earthly possessions in a corner of a room. Just
I forgot about
everywhere.
that. That did happen. Oh
Using
my God.
my phone Wi-Fi to just like call in. I'm just like, all right, y'all, I'm here. Let's do it. Let's get it cracking. I need something to do while I was looking for my new apartment still. Like,
used up his monthly data plan. It was
that's
like, enough with the ice machine.
I was punishing that data. And yes, ice machine, ambient background noise. We didn't come a long way.
People turning tricks in the parking lot.
Ew. Had to go there.
I don't
Pay
know
by
what
the
happens
hour.
at a Detroit motel.
Pay by
I'm just
the hour.
imagining.
It was like Southfield, so you know, like outside the city.
Okay.
That makes it better, but context.
I don't know what Southfield is. It sounds like
Eminem
a-
wasn't
no one
out
does.
there. Eminem wasn't out there.
Nope.
All right. Well, so this show is going to be a little bit different in that we're going to kind of do a bunch of different random segments, all tied around this idea of 100. We thought we'd have a little bit of fun with it. I know that sometimes our more popular segments are actually where we're not talking about anything specific. We're just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit. I was going to curse there, but I thought, you know, why do I have to curse there? I could keep it PG.
It'll be a time to swear.
So this first one, Savon, you want to tell us what we're doing on the first segment?
Yeah, so our first segment is called Keeping It 100, the airing of grievances. We all got some things that, you know, we have some strong feelings about, and maybe we've been trying to keep it civil or, you know, keep it, you know, be PG and be honest with the people, or, you know, selectively honest. But I think in the honor of 100, we got to just air it all out, keep it 100. So, you know, we're going to pitch each other some things that we know the others have been heavy on their mind. And, you know, whenever you get it handed to you, feel free to let it rip and keep it 100 and talk your talk.
That's what it's about. Shout out to Larry Wilmore. We're keeping it 100.
Yeah, boy. So, Brian.
I met him one time. He was weird.
What?
He did
Why
not
have
want
you
to
met
talk.
him?
We were at this place called the Magic Castle in LA, and it's like a club.
Together? You went together?
No. Me and my sister went, and Jen and Matt were there as well. So we went and we just hung out a little bit. And you can go to these different rooms in the Magic Castle, and so it's a kind of a hub for comedians and for magicians, or illusionists. I don't know what they want to be called. But he was
Hey,
there.
the
He
magic's
was
real.
Yeah, he was just there chilling, and he didn't want to talk. I was like, "Hey, what's up, Larry?" And he was like, "Hey, how's it going?"
He's
He
like,
didn't say
keep it
that.
100. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, he was just like, "Hi." That's it.
How you gonna
And then
call
he
that man weird because he didn't want to talk to you?
walked.
The audacity. No one will ever call the creator of the Bernie Mac show weird. Okay.
He created Bernie Mac show?
Yeah, bro. He helped co-create Insecure, Bernie Mac show.
Yeah.
Yo, man. Put some respect
I
on
didn't-
Larry
I didn't- I
Wilmore's
didn't
Fresh
mean
name.
Prince of Bel-Air is
I
a
didn't
big
mean
one
that he
too.
was weird. I misspoke. It was more just the situation was weird.
Yeah, okay. You're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
about to slander Larry Wilmore.
No, you're right. You're right. I take it back. It was just a misspeak.
All
Do
right,
magicians consider Magic Johnson a magician? Like, does
I
he
mean, I
get?
do.
Is he
You
card
seen some
carry
of his
member of
passes?
Magic Castle?
No, look this way.
Yeah, I feel like when people just call you by the name Magic, when your nickname becomes your actual just name and it's something like Magic, you just get all the associated things that come with Magic. So yes,
Yeah.
they have to recognize him.
You know, bunny in
So-
a top hat.
Yeah. So, Savon, are you gonna set Brian up? You want me to? I kinda,
No, I
I'm
got you.
ready.
We were talking
You
about
got it?
Magic.
Yeah,
So
yeah, Magic.
Brian, we're talking a lot about movies everyone loved and all that. Everything, everywhere at once. Keep it 100. How do you really feel?
All right. So you know how I
loved it.
feel about
He loved
everything
it.
everywhere all at once. I did a whole segment on this thing. Hi Brian, highbrow, whatever. I love that movie. Don't get me wrong. I love that movie. Right now, it has the most Oscar nominations for this year's Oscars. You know, wonderful. Michelle Yeoh, wonderful. The Daniels, Ki Hu Kwan, wonderful. All of that. But yo, I gotta keep it 100. Don't call me a race trader or anything. I know this is a great Asian American movie, but I do not want Everything Everywhere All at Once to win the Oscar. It should not win the Oscar.
Okay.
Ooh.
It's a great movie. It's wonderful. It's like the true multiverse of madness that we deserve. However, you know what we don't get enough of? We're full of like all these like genre movies, right? We're full of like multiverse stuff. There's multiverse stuff everywhere. But you know what we don't get enough of anymore? Damn slow ass dramas. Like we need more of that kind of thing where it's just like people talking on screen about normal everyday things that don't have to do with superheroes, don't have to do with mind-bending realities, that don't have to do with people trying to save all of existence.
Give us an example. What are you thinking of here?
So I am thinking of the movie Tar, which is also nominated for Best Picture this year. Tar is about a woman who's a world famous symphony conductor, and she uses her position of power to slightly manipulate and abuse others. And it's like 3 hours, and like every shot is like 5 minutes long. There aren't a lot of cuts, and it's just an incredible movie. It's an incredible movie, and it's just our normal world, and I think we freaking need more of that. And like the Oscars has caught a lot of flack for celebrating art house movies that nobody watches, that are totally unpopular with everybody else in the world. And so, you know, they have tried to bring in all these other movies. Like sometimes a blockbuster movie will get nominated these days. But you know what? Blockbuster movies don't need that, right? Like Vin Diesel has already said, I don't care about the Oscars. I got the people. That's cool. Let's keep it that way. We need something else for the slow movies that nobody watches except for me. And without the Oscars
I
celebrating
disagree.
those movies, then you know they're not going to be made anymore.
That's what
So
Sundance is for.
Give me
That's
more
what
Tar.
Sundance is
Give me
for.
Tar.
That
I'm giving it
sounds
100.
so boring. Oh my
Boring.
god.
It is the whitest movie you
Boring.
could possibly imagine.
I'm like, just sounds like a bad job. Like people, like most people. I mean, I guess it's relatable because people have just had crappy bosses and managers. But like, I mean, I'll go to the movies to escape reality, not to just watch a movie about some mean lady abuse her privilege to micromanage and abuse her peers. What?
Worse. It's worse. She grooms other women.
Ooh.
It gets so much worse. And then
Sounds
spoiler
like
alert.
a fun time.
Spoiler alert, she gets canceled.
This sounds like such a fun way to spend 3 hours of my leisure time.
I want the New York Times in a movie. That's what I want.
I respect the honesty. That is,
I'm giving it 100, man.
I don't I know you saying this on the air. I don't recommend you just go around saying that to people. This is like big. I bet you're really fun at parties energy. Like, but it's cool. We need you. You help keep the world in balance. But you know, you're the hero we need, not the one we deserve. Or however that damn quote works.
Hey, man, it's all about having that balance. You know, we
I
need
love
that.
I do love me some dramas, but I don't know that we need like the Oscars to celebrate more and more niche movies, you know.
They're not
Populism.
going to exist.
Y'all never had
But
just
anyway.
dysfunctional neighbors or people in your neighborhood you just argue and fight all the time? Like, you could just look out the window. If you, depending on your situation, you could just look out the window and see a drama.
And everywhere
right?
in New
But
York.
I need that with nice
Yeah,
lighting.
you live in New York, bro. You don't think you see enough your fair share of quirky, wild people? I was in New York for 3 days, and I was just like, people just live with just these quirky characters just on a day-to-day basis. I'm like, this has got to be exhausting. And you just want to watch a movie about that? Boy, you tripping.
I need that exact thing, but with a tonal score in the background. Maybe I gotta walk around New York with like a stereo and just like a loop track that just goes.
Oh,
Listener Albert here from Taiwan. Now, they say that men start podcasts instead of going to therapy. Well, if that's true, I'm not sure what it says about these guys. But what I do know is their show can be therapeutic, especially with the funny bone. I highly recommend it to my friends, and you should too. And when they ask why, I tell them that confidently wrong absolutely f***s. Happy 100.
I'm Alexis, longtime friend of the show from Long Beach, California. Wes is my older brother, so more often than not, our interests never aligned growing up. But because of him, I've always had an interest in DC superheroes. And also because we grew up with no cable, and Batman Beyond was one of the only decent cartoons we had access to. My favorite thing about Confidently Wrong is that it feels like I'm listening to a nerdy version of Inside the NBA, where Wes is clearly Ernie Johnson and the other guys take turns being Shaq, Charles, and Kenny. I think it's a mix of some structure and serious opinions, a lot of silliness, and a sprinkling of Savon's spicy takes. Still upset he told me that the latest season of Young Justice was good, because it was not. There's something for everyone depending on the episode, but by everyone I do mean you have to be a heavy fan of Disney, Marvel, or video games. But let's be honest, mostly Disney and Marvel. I bawled while watching Wakanda Forever, and I even cried while listening to the pod episode about the movie. So I clearly love this show. I love the guys, and I crack up at the few times myself or my boyfriend have gotten a shout out, and I can't wait to hear more. Congrats.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Tim Fung, aka the OG Funky Fungus, just coming in to congratulate the Confidently Wrong podcast on their 100th episode. Big ups to Wesley Nakamura, award-winning director Brian Redondo, and Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie, for achieving this huge milestone. And I can't forget about Mike Smith, who is no longer with the group, but was there from its inception. Although it has been going strong for over 2 years, I haven't really started listening to the podcast until early 2022, after which I became its #1 fan. You guys have kept me thoroughly entertained throughout the mundane moments of my life, from vacuuming, doing the dishes, mowing grass, and even taking my morning dumps. You guys were always there, keeping me company. There were so many memorable moments, such as Mike always being the counterpoint to Savon, Wes's newfound, yet oddly peculiar pleasure in manicuring his lawn, and my all-time personal favorite, Hi Brian, Highbrow segments, with Brian's always on-point, professionally curated hot takes. Although I truly only know one out of the 3 members in real life, tuning in every episode feels like catching up with longtime friends on the daily, and I hope one day to thank you all personally for the edutainment. In the spirit of being confidently wrong, I would like to close with my own very personal hot take on the future of the podcast, which is that Wesley is finally going to finish playing.
Anyway, so that was me. Now I'm gonna throw it to Wes. Wes, I know you got to keep it 100 about something near and dear to us, the MCU. Tell us.
I love the MCU, but this is not a mad take, right? I'm gonna keep it 100. This is more of a sad take because where we're at with this actually makes me a little bit sad. So my keeping it 100 right now, looking back, is actually that MCU Phase 4. It was kind of weak, especially in comparison to Phase 2 and 3. Maybe it goes along with Phase 1, but I look fondly on Phase 1. I don't kind of look fondly on Phase 4. Let's break it down. So the movies and shows, Phase 4 was Black Widow, pretty meh. Shang-Chi, very good, but not amazing. Had some up and downs. Doctor Strange, which I know Savon really likes, and it was bonkers, but it just felt like it was bonkers to be bonkers, and I didn't care about Stephen Strange at all. Thor was cool, I guess, but or Thor, what was it called? Thor: Love and Thunder. It was cool, but gave us the stupid goats. A lot of people didn't like it. I get it. Wakanda
You
Forever.
like that movie?
Yeah, I did like it, but looking back, I'm not like, I need to rewatch that over and over again.
Yeah, because it wasn't
Forever.
good.
Wakanda
Right?
Forever, probably the only real standout in Phase 4. It was really good, but it might be the only one. The shows that came out during Phase 4, Moon Knight, WandaVision, Loki, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk. I think maybe Loki has an argument for being really good. I know a lot of people liked WandaVision for its creativity. I loved Loki. The other ones, they're hit and miss, I enjoyed them, but that's it. So the level of ceiling that Phase 4 hit was just not very high very often, besides maybe Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And so I have a sad take on this. I just don't feel like Marvel really lived up to their own, admittedly, high standards. I mean, it's hard to keep hitting the same excellent bar of excitement, but I don't think they did it. And I don't think that this is necessarily controversial, because I think a lot of people probably would agree a little bit here, but it's just sad. It's just sad that, I was disappointed.
So I have one pushback I'll give you. I'm going to put, I'll probably push back some perspectives.
Okay.
Because I agree in
Are you going to make the pandemic excuse?
No. Listen,
Okay.
dang, hold on. Listen. 'Cause I did my homework, player.
Okay, all right.
So looking at all the phases, I think it's just good to have perspective. Phase 1 was unprecedented, and I don't think it's fair to even compare it to the other phases because it was in its infancy, and it's in its own unique category, and it was really, really good. Phase 3 was the culmination of lots of decade of work, and it's gonna probably be peak MCU until we see what they do with the next big villain with Kang and stuff, right? But then I pulled up what were the phase, and when you said your argument about phase, I was like, yeah, you're right. Phase 1 and 3 better, without even having to think about it. But then I went and actually pulled up what was in Phase 2, and I think we might be hitting it with a little bit of the rose-colored lenses, a little bit of recency bias. I'm pulling up, Phase 2 movies. Iron Man 3, not a good Iron Man movie.
Woof.
Bad villain. The Killian Mandarin thing, it was not so bad that they had to retro change Mandarin and make him really good in Shang-Chi, which I think is underrated, but cool. Thor: The Dark World, easily one of the worst
Everyone
MCU
hates that
movies.
movie.
No one likes that movie.
Double woof.
They even make fun of Dark World a little bit in Endgame. It's like it was a thing with the sludge. Even they poke fun at that movie. Then we have...
Don't we have Civil War, though?
No. We have Winter Soldier, which
Soldier.
I think
Top
is probably the best, one of my favorite. It's probably my personal it's in my highest tier of MCU. And if we're talking not collab films, I think it's best in terms of
Is that the one where Captain America
Bucky
in the opening scene breaks into the ship?
Yeah.
And they steal a thumb driver? That was such a cool opening scene.
That's when they decided we're going to make Captain America a badass because we did him dirty in the last one. They're like, he taking lives. He's beating the crap out of people. Then we got Guardians of the Galaxy, which I'm on the record of saying I'm not a fan of, but I'm not going to disagree with it being so universally acclaimed. So we'll call that a high point, right?
Definitely.
Okay, we'll call it a high point.
We got
I'm calling it a high point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have Avengers Age of Ultron, which I think is, again, one of the lesser acclaimed Avengers movies. People aren't just talking about all the stuff that happened in Age of Ultron. A movie that I enjoyed, but people didn't like it as much as Avengers. And then a lot of the stuff after with Infinity War Endgame, I think we can say is definitively better, right? And then finally, Ant-Man, which, again, I enjoyed, but Ant-Man wasn't a movie that, I think the Ant-Man character and brand, he kind of had to build up over time to make him more serious. So I'm looking at Phase 2 and just looking at even the peak high points, I don't think, and the amount of just volume of content that Phase 4 put out, I don't know if I think I'd still put Phase 4 over Phase 2, but I don't disagree with some of your overall points about Phase 4. I'm not trying to say that you're wrong, but I think it's good to look back and say, hey, some of these movies that weren't good, we don't even talk about them because they just weren't good. and we just forget about
I
them.
wonder if in the future Phase 4 will look better based on what happens in the future. But right now, it just feels so disparate. I mean, like, the Eternals is part of this, but, like, haven't been involved at all, right? Like, Moon Knight is involved, but, like, hasn't been a part of, like, other things. And so it just feels like you're just, like, being pulled in 40 directions, but with no actual, like, purpose. And in some ways that's cool, right? Like, creators can do the creative directors of all these different, shows and movies can get to do what they want and make good individual things. But I don't think they've actually hit it, right? Like, I think they were all good, but none of them were, like, great. And knowing that it's supposed to be sort of part of this larger thing, it's just a little bit uneasy right now for me, just because I like to know kind of where we're going, but maybe that's just me. And so that's, I think, where we're at.
Yep. And I'll just say, we used to be on the pod, on the record, saying that we were sick of everything being connected and everything setting up for the next setup.
Yeah, I love when the things are isolated, actually.
Yeah.
When you say, like,
I'm not saying
that's
good or bad.
I think it's great.
Yeah, not saying good or bad, but I'm saying, like, hey, I don't want us to be talking out of both sides of our face of, like, hey, we asked for one thing, we got the thing, and now we're not happy with that thing when in the past we actually wanted it. But I think your Phase 4 stuff is, like, I mean, I don't agree with all of it, but I think your broad strokes are not wrong.
Let's get it moving. Savon, you're gonna keep it 100. Tell me what is wrong with older movies and older actors. Like, there's classic. We got the Dustin Hoffmans. We got, who else? Robert Redford, Paul. What's his face?
So just keep it a buck. Keep it a buck, bro. I'm just being honest. Nobody wants to hear this, but people, for how high, and I've been on the record about how our standards for movies are really, really high these days in terms of stuff that could never have even been conceptualized 30 years ago. Now it's like, oh, this color's a little bit off, trash. but I just think movies that's like like 1983 backwards.
Oh,
like,
my God.
The people just
my literal birth year.
The people just aren't great actors, or like you can just see that people have become better at acting now since then. And maybe I'm grading them unfairly on a curve, but I feel like I'm watching 60s basketball.
Oh my
when
goodness.
I'm watching older movies. I can, like, okay, I love Star Wars. I love the original trilogy.
Brian too.
But when I watch those OG Star Wars movies,
Dude.
I'm just like, yo, some of this acting just feels so wooden. I'm like, oh my God. It's like
Harrison Ford? Harrison Ford, brilliant. Like, the best actor in the entire series.
I don't
what
think
about everybody else?
I don't think he doing nothing special. Like, Luke Skywalker wasn't some type of big acting performance that drew me in. Even old Ben Kenobi, he wasn't really emoting or doing no big emotional, sad, or having to really look, devastated and all that. Meanwhile, Ewan McGregor, even in the Obi-Wan, even for the parts I didn't like, that man acting his ass off, looking sad, crying, dirt on his face. I just watched the old movies and I'm just like, yo, the bar was just lower. And shout out to, like, the OGs, because they helped to build the craft. And, like, I'm very much we learn from the people before us, and that's what makes us great type. So it's not to say without them, they did build the foundation of what I think is so many talented actors now. But when you go back and just look at it in a vacuum, it's just like, ooh, this is rough.
Dude,
way to give them their flowers and then snatch them right back.
No, I've said the same thing about basketball. Like, come on, man. Like, Larry Bird and them was nice, but, like, these dudes couldn't dribble with their left hand. These dudes didn't have bag for real. And it's like, hey, you still grew the game, and everybody else, still benefited from your greatness. Yeah, I'm just like, what? Like, come on, man. Like, yo, MJ is a GOAT, and there's a reason why he built the game. But, like, come on, man. That dude wasn't doing. Look at what these kids doing now.
Dude,
look at what these actors are doing now. Like, you got actors like Andy Serkis playing a gorilla, like an actual gorilla with emotional range, and you got Angela Bassett with just arms that could, just built like a true queen truck with all these bracelets battling these water. Like, come on, man. Like,
hey, man. The original Planet of the Apes, they didn't have the luxury of CGI, like,
and I'm not saying there aren't standouts. For the record, there are some standouts that, like, I'm not gonna say all, because the legends are gonna always stand out. and the greats of their time. But I just think in general, like, it just, like, I love Empire Strikes Back. There are just certain moments in that movie where I'm just like, yo,
in defense of old movies, I think the basketball analogy is actually appropriate because the role players of today, incredible. They're incredible in the NBA, right? Like the average NBA player could like just like smoke anybody from a different era. And I think, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Some of the, side players, actors and actresses in movies and stuff, strong, right? But the goats are still goats. Like Al Pacino, the Godfather trilogy is still incredible. Like Robert De Niro, Taxi Driver, still incredible, man. That's a performance for all time. So
I've never seen Taxi Driver.
It's terrifying.
I guess.
Dude,
I guess.
you gotta do the homework. Watch the tape.
Watch the tape. Roll it back.
I legit was watching some of the tape of just random old films. I was just like, this is. I feel like the late 80s, early 90s is when like the acting pool got big enough and more talented where I was like, all right, cool. We can have some people who actually know how to acting in this movie. Come on, man. You have people like Schwarzenegger and Stallone. Like, these are not even actors. What is this? These are not even acting. They just come on, man. You can't, like, nowadays if you want to blow up, you really gotta be on your game. I mean, you obviously connections and all the other stuff too, but like it's hard. It is a sweaty acting meta these days. And if you in a movie, you gotta really be putting in some work. Otherwise they will drag you. And I feel like you could just get away with being real mid back in the day a lot more easily.
I don't know why I'm doing this, but Brian, are you gonna keep it 100 about text messaging?
I mean, for our 100th episode, I think I have to, just for everybody's sake.
Why? Why do I do this to myself?
It's got to be said. Keep it 100. Like, Wes's texts, awful, the worst ever. He might be like the reason why people actually turn off their phone, right? Like
silence.
You've heard of like double texting. Wes doesn't double text. Wes triple texts, quadruple texts, quintuple texts, like septuple text. I don't even know what the word is there.
Yeah, keep going, bro.
I'm having to like dig into the dictionary just to try to figure out how to describe Wes's texting behavior. Like, it is crickets in our chat because Wes, for whatever reason, whenever I always know when Wes is not working, because it's just stream of consciousness up in the text chat. Just like, here's a Twitter link. Oh, by the way, this thing. Oh, yeah. And you guys don't forget to do this thing. And it's like, oh my God, Wes, the rest of us have lives. We need a break. We need a break. But, I will admit, just to like truly keep it 100, maybe I'm not the best person to judge this because honestly, like, keep it 100, I don't need any form of communication that started from Alexander Graham Bell onward. Like
what?
You're just a Luddite.
Don't text me. Don't call me. Don't email me. Don't try to slide into my DMs. Like, I don't really care to talk to you unless you're right in front of my face.
Pony Express only. Oh, you just have to be in front of you. Okay.
Yeah. I like a letter. I like the physical thing. It feels kind of nice.
Sealed with a W, a wax W. That finds you well. The winter in Texas has been intense. We've lost 3 of the cows, but the chickens will make it.
It better be written in longhand. That's all I'm saying.
Well, one thing though, Wes, I will say. I mean, Brian ain't wrong. You be slinging them things, but at the very least, I'll read your text. Look, this is what I'll say. I might not respond to your text, but just know that I've read your text, and so whatever you have shared, you can maybe more often than not know. Okay, Savon at some point has gotten and retained and absorbed this information. I just didn't immediately acknowledge it.
Fair enough.
Like,
I will
that's
say
communication norm. So make sure we just understand, like, if this is your communication style, cool. This is what it looks like for me in response. I'm not gonna be texting a bunch back, but I'm
You'll
probably
have read
gonna
it.
read it. I'm lurking.
Right.
I'm a lurker. I like to lurk.
Lurk.
So Savon reads your texts. I sure as hell don't. Let's just let that be clear. Wes is my de facto best man at my wedding. I don't read your text, buddy. I'm sorry. You've actually called me out on it too. It's like, I said that exact thing like 5 texts ago. And I'm like, oh, you did. Great.
Like, did read
Great
it.
minds. Great minds think alike.
It's about acknowledging each other, not changing each other.
What's up, boys? Battlefield Mike here. Wishing y'all congratulations on 100 episodes. Crazy. The show started out pandemic. Me and Wes just kind of figuring it out. I remember the first episode we did, Wes didn't do it, but I watched Cats and talked about it for like 45 minutes uninterrupted. So, you know, sacrifices have been made to get to this point. But, you know, it was a pleasure doing it with y'all, and I'm really glad that y'all have continued to do it and just continue to grow the show and make it the best it can be. So congratulations on 100 episode, and here's to 100 more.
My favorite part about the pod has to be episodes, I don't know, it was like late 30s, maybe to 40. There was this brief stretch where a shining new version of an East Coast Jewish host made an appearance that really has yet to be matched by anyone. And really, I fear that it may never be matched again. I think up there, aside from those 2 episodes, the departure of Mike, I think, really allowed everyone to actually make a good podcast, or at least a better one. And aside from those, easily the best part of the podcast is Savon, only because he's usually right. And if he's not, he's wrong in such an absurd yet principled way that you can't even be mad at it. And he also opened my eyes to a whole new way of approaching video games, of putting drip above stats, and really reframed what the point, like, what are we even doing here? We're here for flavor. And, you know, I'm grateful to him for that. And honestly, otherwise, the podcast is pretty trash. Oh, yeah. This is Will Katz, by the way. Sick. Peace.
All right, let's move it on. Our next one is called the Wrong in Order episode, or Wrong in Order segment. So what this is, and we said there'd be 100 tie-ins, so we went here with, okay, it's gonna be, you get 100 seconds to answer a bunch of different questions, and all you got to do is say your answer, and that's it. And it's like trial by fire, so that's where the Wrong in Order comes in. What is the music? It's not dun dun dun.
It's just like 2 beats. Oh, nice. That gets hard to key.
Y'all didn't just watch SVU? Oh, me and my mom would just watch
that guitar
SVU
is never outdated.
Day. Oh my god, bro.
Jen loves SVU.
Oh yeah, man.
Weren't we just talking about Pedro Pascal got his start on SVU?
Dude, everybody in their grandma was at some point SVU extra.
They've had so many episodes.
Dude.
Every person I've met in New York has been in SVU. Let's put it that way.
First person on the hot seat, Savon
Jones.
Lord. Captain Vonnie.
You got the timer ready?
You got 100 seconds, aka 1 minute, 40 seconds to answer the questions. If we run out of time, or we run out of questions, I guess you're off the hot seat. We're going to alternate. Brian, you're going to ask the first question. Savon, you're going to answer it. On your mark, get set, go!
All right, Savon, open robe or closed?
Closed if I got company, open if I'm just at the crib vibing.
Yuck.
Speaking
and then
of
maybe
robes,
open
Speaking of robes, are you going fleece or velour?
Ooh, velour feels better and is like sexier, but I think fleece is more practical. I think I'm gonna lean fleece.
Ooh.
All right. Continuing on this theme, silk or satin?
Ooh, I feel like silk is like nicer
even
to
know what
say,
satin is.
but I feel like satin legitimately. I'm gonna go satin.
I legit don't know what satin is.
Oh,
All right, I'm going to change it up here. Enough of the robes. How many hot dogs is too many hot dogs?
Like in one day, in one sitting.
One sitting. I asked the question.
If you really hungry and you ain't got nothing else and that's all you eat, like you get 3. You get 3.
Any more than that?
Any more
You
than
get
that?
judged?
Anything more than that, then you get into like you just join the hot dog eating. Just do the competitive eating thing. We just about to just eat glizzies all day.
All right,
Yeah.
Savon, would you rather fight 100 duck-sized lions or 1 lion-sized duck?
100 duck-sized lions. I'm trying to think of how big a duck is. I mean, I feel like a duck-sized lion would basically be like a small cat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
a small cat.
But you got to find 100 of them.
Yeah, but
No,
I'm
it's a
just
big. It's
thinking,
a big cat. Some ducks are kind of big. Yeah.
I'm saying like a duck and a cat are around the same size. So
But you got to fight 100 of them.
Yeah, so that's like getting jumped by like 100 really, really buff cats.
Yeah.
Hell no, that sounds awful. I couldn't handle fighting a single cat. I don't think that's a guaranteed win. I'm gonna take more licks than I want. So, so what is it? 1 lion-sized duck?
Yeah.
Dog, I feel like that duck would also a regular-sized duck would also kind of give me more trouble than I like. But I'm gonna go with the duck. At least it's a 1-on-1.
Lion-sized duck.
That is your time. Nicely done. I think we learned a lot about you, the glizzies.
Yeah, man. You like come on, man. You can do your thing with hot. I like a hot dog. I love a hot, but like I'm not about to sit and just eat.
Meme
2.
that. Meme that.
Well, I like hot dogs, but I'm not about to just sit and eat 3 of them joints. I'll eat 2 if I'm hungry, and then I get a side. But if you're eating just that many, I'm like, either you're trying to make a point or you're just being gluttonous. Or either way, like this. Come on, B.
Who's next in the hot seat?
All right, I'll do it.
Oh God.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
100 seconds.
I'll start us off.
Okay, go.
Wes, greatest Laker of all time.
Oh, greatest Laker of all time. The right answer is Kobe, but he's not my favorite Laker of all time. My favorite Laker of all time is Pau Gasol.
What the fuck is wrong with this man? Who's the worst Laker of all time?
Worst Laker of all time by far. Stone hands, Kwame Brown. Couldn't catch a lob, couldn't catch a post entry pass. This man could not catch anything, and he was a number 1 pick, and he somehow was on our team for like so many years, and God, he was so terrible. Second place goes to Eldon Campbell of the 90s Lakers.
Okay, Wes, you teach high school. Tell us how you really feel about your students. Do you secretly hate them?
I don't secretly hate the students. The thing that bugs me the most, or that students will do, though, is like just not try. Like, my class is hard. I get it. But like, to pass my class, you really don't got to do a whole lot. You got to do like a few assignments, do a makeup assignment once you fail the test, and like you're going to pass. Like, that's it. You could even probably skip 2 or 3 assignments. You're still going to pass my class. And these motherfuckers that don't do it, like, they literally just are like, meh, I'm not going to do that.
Will not skill.
Yeah, it's just, that's so frustrating when you just don't even like want to pass. Like, come on, man. Like, it's not that hard. Like, you don't got to understand a damn thing about bio to pass my class. You got to understand bio to like get an A. I think that's fair. But you don't,
Greatest rapper of all time.
Oh, I don't have a good answer.
I know.
Don't say Ed Sheeran.
No, you got to answer this one.
All right. How about my favorite is Eminem? I'm going with that.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's gonna send reverberations through the confidently wrong.
And I know
he's
not I know he's not the greatest, but I enjoy him.
All right, Wes, tell Savon why New Orleans is the worst.
Put that on there.
I love New Orleans.
Resident.
I love New Orleans. It's not the worst, except that public transportation is horrible. Like, you can't catch a bus to nowhere on time. It might not even show up. Don't take the streetcar. Like, that shit doesn't like work all the time. Then they shut it down. Like, they're just like, streetcars aren't running today. You're like, wow, but I was trying. No.
West
public
taking the easy
transportation.
way out on this one.
It's terrible. They shut down the ferries. Like people try and take the ferries across to the West Bank. I don't know why you go to the West Bank, but people do it. And they shut down the ferries sometimes. Like people rely on that to get to work. What are they doing? Public transportation, horrible. And you can't ride your fucking bike because there's no fucking streets because they're all fucking filled with potholes.
We below sea level. What you want us to do?
I love New Orleans though.
They were
Like, these are real problems that exist. Oh, no, actually the worst boil advisories. Savon, you remember?
Yeah, I remember. I lived there for a long time.
Yeah, but now you live in Detroit with like working infrastructure. Maybe you got water.
What the hell is a boil advisory?
You talking about sometimes. I'm not getting into that.
It's literally where the water might not be fucking drinkable, so you gotta boil it before you can cook with it.
Oh no!
You can't brush your teeth. They're like, you could shower with it, but don't get any in your mouth or your eyes.
Wherever you,
I was hoping
that did not happen every other day. I mean, it did happen.
It happens at least twice a year.
I was hoping it just meant like now's the time to have a shrimp boil.
No,
crawfish boil.
No, that's always the time. Now it's crawfish season. I need some crawfish, bro.
Crawfish. And I mean, you talking about public transportation? Detroit is the motor city. If you ain't got a car, public transit is not
not it.
What I'll tell you is that no matter what city you living in, you trading off something for something. There's things about Detroit that I'm like, oh man, they crushing it compared to New Orleans, and then other things I'm like, oh, and vice versa, and you picking what you trading off on, I suppose. Those things about New York where I was like, oh yeah, I could never live here, but I get why someone would want to live here.
Fair enough. All right, you ready, Brian?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. I did a bad job about answering quickly, so maybe try and do a better job of not explaining.
All right, let's see how many we can cover.
All right. Go.
Star Trek or Star Wars?
Star Trek. Live long and prosper.
Whoa! We need to cover more Star Trek. Best pizza, Brian. New York or New Jersey?
All right. Highest peaks are in New York. More consistency, New Jersey.
What's your favorite part about editing as a award-winning director and producer and all that stuff?
Telling the director how they're wrong.
I like that.
All right. What is a non-geek movie show, whatever, that you're watching or going to watch this year?
I just finished Atlanta. Go watch that. It's incredible.
I need to watch it.
I need to go back to it.
I do. What is the worst? What fan base is the worst out of just all the fan bases you've encountered? Who sucks? Who's awful?
Star Wars fans. Duh.
I agree. Star Wars fans are terrible.
Lightsabers everywhere. Stormtroopers everywhere. Get out of here. Be more original.
So get your space Nazis out of here, huh?
All right. Who's your greatest rapper of all time?
Oh, so that's a little tough question, but I'm just gonna go with Nas. I mean, he's for sure top 3. He's one of my favorites. Let's go with Nas. But maybe Biggie. If Biggie had the catalog, I would go with Biggie.
Highest peaks, right?
Yeah, that's a whole
pod
about that.
Yeah,
that's all. We could have a whole pod. I was just arguing this with my brother the other day. Like that is a pod.
Illmatic is very hard to touch.
Right.
Like, that's rarefied air.
Okay, best gaming console.
All right, this last one.
Nintendo 64. Yeah.
GoldenEye.
Oh my god.
Big head mode.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh, I remember. It was the summer of
Super Mario
64. Oh, that takes me back.
I had to go to Toys R Us for a game.
I was a Toys R Us kid, and
the Toys R Us catalog.
Turtles.
Brian, did you get the Toys R Us catalog?
Oh, of course.
I
salivated over that thing.
I used to circle like a bunch of things I wanted from them and then give them to my mom and be like, this is my Christmas list. And she would get me maybe one thing off that, but never like the RC car that I want. Every year I'd fucking pick an RC car, Nerf guns, some action figures.
And then get none of it.
None of that. Yeah. I would get something cool. I'm not going to say I wouldn't get cool things, just not those things.
Did your parents not let you play with specific types of things?
No,
I think they just like Nerf guns or no, or it's just like, hey, we can't
it wasn't that. I think they just knew like that shit's gonna break. Like, what are you doing? Like an RC car, the RC cars in our day, Savon. This might be true when you were younger too. They would the batteries would take like a day to charge, and then they would last for maybe like 12 minutes, if that, and then you have to recharge them again. So like they never really got played with because you'd need so much ahead of planning time to really get them ready. And of course, like what 6-year-old is ready to like be like, you know what? I want to play with my RC car tomorrow. I'm gonna charge it.
I was built different, but maybe it was just some different type of kid, But,
I mean, you were born 40 years old. Like, I mean, I get that.
But hey, also I feel, I convinced my mom when I was a kid to get me and my brother. We talked her into getting Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which we were not.
How do you even sell her on that title?
Because my mom
GTA, just call it GTA.
Because my mom is many things. She is not a believer of censorship.
All right.
And believes individual people should be able to, including younger ones, should be able to differentiate between what is real life and what isn't. Hey, I'm a well-adjusted adult. Or if I am, or if I'm not, it's not because of Grand Theft Auto.
Blame it on the school system.
All right. Our next segment, hopefully that was enjoyable. I enjoyed that, actually. There's so many questions in here we didn't even get
Wes'
to.
favorite rapper is Eminem, y'all. I just want to put that back on the...
I knew that was going to be bad.
I know. No, this is great. This is great, because I know at least 4 people who are like, this is going to be great.
Wes, just for fun,
I just don't have a favorite.
Throughout the question that you wanted to ask, that didn't get to ask.
Yeah, it's all of these. I don't know, like
for
favorite word in the English language, like malapropism. What a great word!
Oh, that's a good one. I have no idea what that means, but that's a good one.
Mal, I'm assuming something bad.
It does. Well
come
done.
on, context clues, man. I know prefixes and suffixes.
It's a humorous misuse of a word.
Oh,
malapropism.
I like the word plug, but I don't know.
In what context?
Just by itself.
All right.
Plug.
I like people using plug as like a drug dealer or like their hookup at
the
a place.
hookup, anything. You got the come on, I said it at work.
That.
Come on, man. I got the email plug. Come on, man. I got the plug with the
I like that.
Blah.
I like
just
that
innocuous
usage.
work. Hey, you got some notepad? Come on, man. I'm the notepad plug. Come on here. Oh, pens. Oh, yeah, the colored pens. Come on, man. I stay strapped with the pens. Come on, what color you want? I got red, purple. This is that high quality ink. Just make sure you get it back to me.
Strap with the pens.
Look, and then I come like the IRS to collect them things when I'm done. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna need that pen out, you player. I gave you that at the start of this meeting. I'm gonna need it at the end of it.
What's up, Confidently Wrong crew? This is BK from Austin. Congratulations on hitting 100 episodes and, well, for putting up with Wesley for that long. I suppose that's an accomplishment in and of itself. But seriously, thank you for keeping me laughing through my commute, for being confidently wrong about a lot of things. I mean, Avatar: Way of the Water was a hit with my family. And for turning me on to some interesting movies, TV, and video games, even if Outer Wilds didn't click with me. Sorry, Brian. Here's to 100 more. Keep up the good work. BK out.
It's Sean Noel, writer of the webtoon original City of Walls, and I can honestly say Confidently Wrong is that podcast I look forward to every week. Whether it's Wes's critical critiques, Brian's inspired insights, or the wildcard takes of Savon, I want to say congrats. Episode 100, you haven't killed each other yet. But then again, has anyone heard from Mike? Now about that refund.
All right, let's move on to another segment. You're locked in a room. You have to watch the same episode or movie 100 times before you're let out.
So back to back to back to back to back to back.
That's it. Well, I mean, you could take breaks, I guess, but you ain't leaving until you watch that thing 100 times. What is the movie or episode that tickles your pickle?
Oh, God.
Brian, I want to hear from you first.
Tickling my pickle. We're going for something different.
I can't stand y'all too.
But the episode or movie that I'm watching 100 times over and over. All right, so I was trying to think about this.
He really game planned this out, like practical.
This is actually, so it's not the most practical because I'm gonna say a movie. Movie's not the most practical here. Most practical is like a 25-minute episode of something, right? Because you're out there quicker.
Okay.
I have a terrible. I can't isolate individual episodes of a show. I can only think of like the show in totality.
Oh, so then you got to watch the whole show 100 times. That's too much.
That would be terrible.
Sucks for you.
So I was thinking something that I could reconsider over and over and over again, right? So like Inception definitely fits that bill. Fantastic movie, but there's always like, oh wait, did you notice the way that he spun the top? Like maybe that means something, right? Like you could do that over and over again. However, I will say that movie does have like a bit of violence and like is maybe too thrilling. I don't want to be amped up like over and over and over again. Like I'll go bonkers. So here's where I landed. A movie that you can watch and reconsider how things were going on, right? Like, the ending changes the way you perceive earlier parts of the movie, but is a funny movie. So it's not like too crazy, not too violent. I'm going with the 80s movie based on the board game hit Clue, which is a murder mystery.
What?
Murder mystery featuring Christopher Lloyd, Michael McKean, Tim Curry. It's hilarious. It's got 3 different endings packaged in the same movie so that you could just like watch it over and over and be like, oh, here's how this ending impacted the stuff that we saw, an hour ago. And you just like watch it over and over and it's a great time. I've already seen it 1,000 times. So let's add 100 more. Clue. Go check it out.
Disappointed. At least go with your one of your favorite movies like Spaceballs or something fun, nostalgic.
Clue is a cult hit, man.
When did Clue come out?
It's up there in the Brian Pantheon.
When did Clue come out?
I don't know, 1985.
Oh wow, I typed
crazy
it up
like that.
very much 1985.
Oh, I hit it.
Who are these people?
I don't know. I never heard of these people except Christopher Lloyd.
Eileen Brennan, Tim Curry. Do I know who Tim Curry is? I probably
Yeah, you know Tim Curry, man. Tim Curry is
Madeline
like his
Kahn.
Rocky Horror Picture
Christopher
Show.
Lloyd. Oh, I thought Christopher Lloyd was the boy. Oh, that's Jake Lloyd.
Oh gosh, Star Wars guy.
Yeah. Like I was like Christopher Lloyd. He's
All
still
right.
acting.
All right,
Great
so
Scott.
Savon, set us straight.
What?
You're locked in a room.
Oh.
What are you watching?
Oh, come on. Now, for me, I'm leaning into something that I can just keep laughing at. And I'm like, okay, so what's something that will always be funny to me no matter what I watch? And it's the Boondocks, straight up. I can watch any episode of that damn show and just laugh nonstop just because of all of the layers of jokes and Black culture references. And like the jokes really do have a lot of layers to them that I'm like, man, if you just haven't seen like every movie with every Black actor ever, you're not going to catch all these references. And so if we're talking specific episodes, I mean, and I'll fully admit this is probably one of the more, if there was an episode someone would probably be offended by, it'd probably be this one, but also the Boondocks is hysterical. And it would be the story of Catcher Freeman, which is when Huey and Riley have Granddad tells them a story of one of their great ancestor they had from multiple generations ago during the era of American slavery. And it's meant to be a historic, like him retelling the story, but it's like a really humorous retelling. And Riley is also calling out inconsistencies and how it feels like it's actually a built up, exaggerated, like action movie plot. But then the second part of it is also the character Uncle Ruckus, renowned racist, who tells his own variation of the story. And it's just a lot of slapstick and silliness. But again, a lot of the jokes are just references to a lot of other Black movies from the 2000s and 90s, and a lot of the voice actors. And there's a lot of jokes within the jokes. But I remember the day that episode came out, I was watching with my siblings.
Whoa. It was a flashbulb moment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah,
goodness.
some people remember 9/11 where they were. You're like, I remember when Catcher Freeman.
Because I'm looking when it came out. It came out in 2008, and I'm like, oh, if this is early 2008, this would have been when my siblings were living with us. We were trying to rebuild the house after the storm. We all just in the crib chilling. We finally back in the crib, and I was like, the Boondocks was just in full swing. And I remember us watching that, and me, my sister, brother, dad, we are just all on the floor laughing. Like it was just, I could watch that 100 times. So like really any Boondocks episode, but I'll watch the story of Catcher Freeman with many amazing quotables that I will not repeat on this show. But
give us one. Just give us one.
I don't have any good ones.
Okay,
right. There's one where the character Catcher Freeman, Ruckus is retelling his version of the story, and it's a much more racially biased one. And it portrays Catcher Freeman as a scene where he comes out of the water and grabs somebody out the water, and it's like a Jason Voorhees reference. But Riley is laughing at the storytelling, being like, "Oh, he came out the water like Jason on him," and it's like all the best parts. I can't quote, but I'm gonna choose not to quote. But it's funny stuff, but also it's might not be your sense of humor. But if you black,
Surprising
it's hysterical.
pick, man.
That's a surprising pick.
I mean, I love the Boondocks, but that particular episode is kind of a surprising pick.
That
like for
episode
over and over again.
It's just pure. It's because it's just nonsense. It's just silly. It doesn't take itself seriously. I could just sit and laugh at that all day. Yeah.
Fair enough.
right.
My choice?
What you got, Wes?
All right. 2008, by the way. Peak Pau Gasol. 2008, 2009, 2010.
This man picked Paul Gasol as his
Greatest
favorite Laker.
Favorite
That is
Laker.
such a I thought you was gonna say like Magic because the era. You picked the Kobe's running mate who.
Love Pau Gasol.
You are something else. Wes,
That man was so skilled.
Even
so
as a Lakers
skilled.
fan, you managed to still villainize yourself.
That guy. Whew,
Further.
He was
By
so
the way,
good.
favorite part of the Redeem Team movie, if you haven't watched it, is
when Kobe bullies that man?
flattens Pau Gasol in the Olympics. Incredible.
He just ran and trucked him just because he wanted to. Oh, so good.
Send a message.
Yeah.
Mamba.
Sets them up for the 2009 championship as well. All right. So my
All right, Wes,
episode.
100 times.
Okay. I'm going to go much older in the era of maybe just starting to be in high definition. The West Wing.
No.
What a fun show. One of my
No.
favorite shows of all time. And the specific episode, I don't know which season it's from. It's one of the early ones, maybe season 1 or 2. It's an episode called Shibboleth. And I'm not going to bore you with all the details, except at the
Did
end.
you say sibilance?
Shibboleth.
What is that?
They talk about it in the show. It's like a religious test. It's a reference to a Bible test, but it ends up working within one of the subplots in the show. Shibboleth, yeah. What I love about the show, and you guys know I'm a sucker for like happy endings, like for happy stories, for things to like wrap up in a nice bow tie, or bow tie, tied up in a bow, neatly, nicely done. So
Either way, it looks good.
at the end of the episode, the president brings Charlie in. Charlie's his assistant. He brings Charlie in, and he tells him the story about like knives, because Charlie's been spending the whole episode shopping for knives for the president, because the president's been busy. And he brings it to him, and he says, "This is a lovely knife." And he says, "Well, sir, if that's true," because he had talked about how like knives are passed down from their fathers to their sons, and he was like, "My grandfather passed, blah blah." And he's like, "Well, if that's true, shouldn't you have a knife already?" He's like, "I do." And then he tells a story. He says, "Charlie, this knife has been passed down from my great grandfather to my grandfather, and my grandfather passed down to my father passed down to me." And he says, "I'm passing it to you." Oh, it was like such a great moment of like connection between these two men.
Yo, Savon, wake up.
As like a sort of a surrogate father here. And so basically the man had been, searching for a knife, but what he didn't know was that he was searching for a knife because he was going to get a prized possession from the president, who was, kind of like his uncle, basically. It was cool. I loved it.
How old were you watching the show?
West Wing is on late 90s, early 2000s.
Oh my God, Wes was obsessed with the West Wing.
Wait, so
during
was he like?
college.
Wait, okay, so you were like a high school, college student watching the West Wing?
I didn't get into it until like season 3 or 4. So I was I don't know. I was probably watching in college. I didn't watch it in high school.
Okay, so it wasn't like, you sit and watch it with your parents. Because I have shows that I'm like maybe not super proud that I've watched, but it's like, hey, me and my mom was sitting.
No, I
watching
love
bonding,
this show.
So.
West Wing is like, it was very smart. And for the time, it's probably now not even considered progressive, but for the time it was progressive. And it like spoke to me and like my sense of optimism at the time. It was a beautiful show.
I'm glad.
The episode you described, I'm like, wow, riveting. So into
I
this.
love it when people connect, and happy ending. It was great. Exactly what I want from an episode of
I mean,
TV.
if I were gonna pick something in the White House, I'd probably pick Veep. but like West Wing is
That's way more cynical.
Or even like House of Cards
boy.
before it went off the
No,
rails.
way more cynical. No one wants that.
Yeah, that's the more realistic. You watching this happy-go-lucky show about our government? What the hell? That already felt like, okay, so this is like a satire, or like what's the
This
joke?
is a
Like,
fantasy.
Don't act like
what's
you're
the
not
bit here?
also you're in a non-profit. You work in education.
Yeah, but
You gotta have optimism.
I do
You
know.
gotta love the optimism.
No, I can do what I believe is right and also think it's gloom and doom. I can feel like there's no hope but still do the right thing. If anything, that's better. That's harder to do.
Savon is
You don't get
Sisyphus
style
with
points.
his rock.
Yeah. You don't get extra XP.
If anything, I'm playing on hard mode.
It's hard
He's
mode
just
of
trying
your
to
own
entertain
making.
himself.
Yeah. West Wing is so good. I love it. I think now today, honestly thinking back about it though, today it would be probably written very differently. Not just in terms of realistic, but even if you tried to keep it like in the optimistic mode, it would still have a very different tone. It was very much a white-centric world, and I think they would do a much better job of making that less so nowadays. So that'd be cool.
Hey, I'm Faye. I like to tune into the podcast when I go on my walks, which is usually when it's not negative 32 degrees Celsius. I'm Canadian, so you guys can enjoy converting that because I'm not doing the math. I love the quips y'all have. I enjoy your dynamic. I enjoy how organic you guys are. And you guys are also really nerdy, which is a good thing because I'm also really nerdy, so I enjoy the topics you talk about.
What's up, y'all? This is Kendall from Louisiana, coming to you live from Disneyland. I'm a lifelong, confidently wrong podcast listener. It's 10 out of 10, I gotta say. So I've seen it through its ups and its downs, which is mainly Wes's take on Multiverse of Madness. But I gotta say, some of my favorite things about the show is just the banter between everybody. And honestly, everyone ganging up on Savon to get off the center fence and, take a strong stand on some of these topics. So keep doing what you're doing. 10 out of 10 Yelp review. Give it a listen.
All right. Next segment. 100 days. This is a similar premise, but slightly different. Here we go. Bear with me. You have 100 days, but you're living in the universe or the world of a game or a show or a movie. You could live in the outlands of Horizon, Forbidden West. How does it go? What fictional character are you? Where would you actually want to live for 100 straight days? Giving up your mortal current life. You'd be in this fictional world. Savon, where are you going?
So I thought about
Boondocks.
this. There's some very there's some very like practical answers and this world will be safe, but that's boring. And so I'm like, if I'm just going on like a 100-day vacation of just some world and I can check it out, I want to be in the Marvel either comic or just some version of a Marvel universe, whether it's the movie one or the comic one. Just put me in one of those because let's go with comic. Because life there sounds kind of lit. They have dope super technology.
But they got villains all the time attacking things.
Yeah, but they got villains all the time now, like doing stuff. Like super villains ain't a new thing. At least we got superheroes in this one to balance it out a little bit. So where I'm at with it is lots of super dope technology. So either way, it's just gonna be cool stuff. Like I'm assuming that no matter what, Iron Man got some kind of just like open source tech that benefits the larger community. Like I feel like as an everyday person, I should be benefiting from some of the stuff from all these super scientists. Everybody and their grandma is a god level genius. I should at least have some just regular dope stuff, like an iPhone battery that lasts forever or something, right? Arc reactor iPhone.
It's got its own arc reactor, yeah.
But what I really, really want is to be able to go into their universe, go on YouTube or World Star or whatever their video sharing website is.
He said World Star.
They definitely have World Star. Yeah.
I just want to watch what I know are just an infinite amount of superhuman fight comps. And so when I was in college, something me and my friends would do, especially before going out, we'd chill in like the dorms, drinking beers, listening to music. We'd go to World Star Hip Hop, find fight comps, and the fight comps would just be video compilations of just like street fights that users submitted. This is what we would do. This is our college behavior.
Why would you find that entertaining?
Because you never got enough. It's like using in school. It's like using in school. Yeah. Like if the kids thought like if you use in school, there was a fight, you're gonna watch. Like, okay, let's see how this plays out. It's not fun to be in a fight.
No,
but I want
I
to
didn't.
see what
Dylan
happens.
Brooks,
People
Dylan
watch
Brooks, and
you-
Spider Mitchell. Fun to watch.
Yeah,
I would
like,
just keep
let's not
eating my
lie.
sandwich.
People watch. Yeah, you eat your sandwich and watch a free UFC
No,
match
I
in
wouldn't
front of you.
I wouldn't run over there and watch the fight. I would.
I'm
just
not
like,
gonna run, but I'm
I
at
didn't
least
care.
like,
I didn't care.
get a good perch.
Nah.
But point is, in the Marvel universe, I know that just with all the superhumans and mutants and all that, there's got to be some dope fights out there. And I could just spend my 100 days just on YouTube, just watching someone who got some drone footage of Captain America fighting Red Skull or Doctor Strange or something with the Hulk. Everybody got cameras. And I'll just be entertained the entire time just watching superhuman fights.
This man really said, "I'm gonna go to this fantastic world, and I'm just gonna watch videos."
I'm just gonna watch superhuman
I'm
fight
leave my
comps.
video watching from this world to go to a fantasy world to watch
But
more
it's-
YouTube.
But
That's
it's
a hot take,
better.
Savon.
But it's better. Like, would you imagine going on YouTube and you just see like someone just got a video of just a fight comp of Doctor Strange, just of all his battles over the years, and it's just on YouTube, and you just sitting just like, yo.
This man could go eat like the foods of this place. Like
You're just
go
trying
I
to-
could do
learn
that
from
while I'm
these
on
places.
YouTube.
Learn from these places.
The hell am
just
I
trying
learning
to
from the Marvel
follow-
universe?
You're trying to follow that dude on the bus in the Shang-Chi movie.
yeah.
Yo,
Like,
yeah, you remember Shang-Chi?
so, just so you could live comment, like,
Yeah, like, hey,
dude
yo.
got a blade.
Hey, yo, that's War Machine, yo. Yeah, man, I could give me 100 days of that. And it's a dangerous world, but like if you die, people get brought back. How many people don't stay dead? Like, only people who stay dead are like Uncle Ben.
You are the Uncle Ben in this universe.
No, I'm not.
You're the
I'm not the Uncle
bystander.
Ben.
You're the bystander, man. You're
bystander's
not.
good,
You're not being
bro.
brought back.
And that's why I'm inside. I just want to watch the fights on YouTube. Marvel Universe dangerous. Look, I didn't pick the cinematic universe. So I'm like, mathematically, I would have been there for 5 years, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna roll the dice on that. Put me in the comic world.
You're gonna be
Fair
2D.
I could be in New York and just really see Spider-Man, Like, yo, that'd be so fire. Yo, that's Peter Parker. I mean, that's Spider-Man.
That would
You
be
might
cool.
get indoctrinated by the Daily Bugle.
Oh yeah, fake news,
Nah,
fake,
never.
fake news.
Spider-Man's
J.
a
Jonah
menace.
James.
Never.
Hey, you left. Spider-Man is a menace. He ain't got no permit.
Savon's critical thinker. He would not be bamboozled by J. Jonah Jameson's grift. Alex
Well,
Jones.
look, in 100 days, I'll have a better feeling of what it's like to live in a city, maybe with Spider-Man in it. And I might have some time to be like, oh yeah, Spider-Man tripping. Give me 100 days, and I'll give you an honest answer once I come back.
Hey, he's out there vigilanting, tying up all the criminals. But
You played the Spider-Man game. There was some points where Jay Jonah podcast was like, yo, homie kind of spitting on the slick.
All right, my answer: 100 days in a universe. I for sure am not going to Game of Thrones. That shit seems too hard, and everybody's dying. I'm not choosing an end of the world scenario, like no zombies, no asteroids, no Armageddon, none of that. I don't live my best life in that kind of thing. I wanna just live in a world where things are great. There's some laughs. We're having fun. We get to play basketball. We listen to music, whatever. So I'm going to my childhood afternoon TV watching on syndication. Give me the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Uncle
It's just
Phil.
the real world.
Uncle Phil. That's who I want to live with. Yeah, but Uncle Phil doesn't exist in real life. I want to live with
Well,
Uncle Phil.
R.I.P. Uncle Phil. But
I
you're
know.
like, you just want to. Are you like gonna be at Bel Air Academy? You just want to go to prep school and wear a blazer? Is that what's going on here?
That was like,
or
that
are
was
you
like-
in the family?
That was like 0.4% of the show.
Are you in the family? Oh, maybe you are the Asian boyfriend for Ashley.
Oh yeah, I know lots.
Shout out to
yeah.
Rufio.
Yeah, he's so tall. Don't you say he's tall or something? Or, yeah, when he was a white dude. Yeah, I feel like it would just be a bunch of probably 90s Asian jokes that just don't age well because a lot of those shows were not good about it. Everybody's like, oh, so we just like, oh, we got Asian characters, we just gonna sling Asian
Yeah,
jokes.
Will's definitely gonna clown you.
Yeah, Will's gonna be on your bumper.
No,
Is that what you want to be?
me and Will would be friends. I'd be like their third to the DJ Jazzy, DJ Jeff.
Are you
I'd
getting
be with
thrown
him.
out of the house?
You're talking yourself
Nah,
up.
with them.
You're talking yourself up a lot, right? You're making a lot of assumptions.
I'm
Wes.
gonna
You
be
think
his
you about to
friend.
hang? You
I'm
think you
gonna
about to
be
hang? Y'all listeners, I mean, I guess, people who know what Wes really think he about to go hang out with just Will and Jazz and just. And,
Yep.
Man, look.
Uncle Phil's gonna give me advice. I'm gonna
And
go
you
to
were-
him with my problems.
And you and Carlton, like y'all not gonna just hit it off.
Me and Carlton.
Despite being multiple
I'd be
shades
the
of the same
bridge.
person.
I'd be the bridge between the two. When they're beefing, I'd be the guy that gets them back together.
You're on the debate team with Carlton, aren't you?
I could not debate at
I
all.
feel like you're gonna be the one telling
Savon's
Will
the
not to do the
debater.
Will stuff. Yeah, but like
Yeah, I'd be
I'm not
Will's
like,
better conscience. Like, Will, we shouldn't do this, and then he'd go and do it, and then we'd gotta get out of there.
Well, that means you're the Carlton in this situation. Carlton's
yeah.
dope, but come on, man. All right, it's cool. If you think it's your universe. If you think you're gonna be cool with Will and Jazz, then we'll power to you.
I just really want to hang out with Uncle Phil is really what's going on there. And Viv, she's cool too. She gave me great advice. She'd come for me when I needed it. That's what I want. 100 days, just like hanging out with a nice, solid people, laughing at Will when he's doing his thing, laughing at Carlton. Jeffrey, underrated comedian.
Legendary.
Jeffrey.
That guy's awesome.
Jeffrey was awesome.
All right.
So
Brian?
Wes, I'm kind of with you, man. I'm a survivor.
Oh, you're a little whack.
I'm not trying to struggle. I don't want to be in Middle Earth trying to figure out how to camp underneath some trees and eat lambus bread. I don't want to be out in Alderaan or whatever in the Star Wars universe. And like after seeing Andor, especially, like I'm not trying to live under the oppressive empire, although some might argue we already are. But we already live in the Matrix, so I'm not trying to do that. I want something fun and comfortable. I'm with you on that, Wes.
Hell yeah.
But just to like make it a little bit more fun.
Yeah, Wes just sold out.
Like I don't want to live in the real world either. So I'm
okay.
gonna choose the movie franchise Sing.
What?
Where all the animals
that was out of left field.
Are basically doing
I know
America's
Sing.
Got Talent, like singing pig.
Is that a
singing
musical?
Koala. Yeah, it's a kids
They do
movie.
pop songs.
They do pop songs. Like Scarlett Johansson is the singing voice of a porcupine or something like that. I'm down with that. All these like funny furry animal friends. Like I'm down to just be an armadillo in a tracksuit, popping and locking in the background for a singing pig. Like, let me do that. I could do that for 100 days. Make friends with the rabbit, and then I'll be out. Like all good. That's
what animal you gonna be? What animal you gonna be? That's the real question. And like, does your animal play into how like in that? Do they have animal stereotypes for them in this thing?
A little bit.
Like if you're a porcupine, do people treat you like, hey, you got spines? I don't rock with you like that.
Well,
the gorilla.
Is it like
comes
Zootopia?
The
not
gorilla
as much.
thing comes to
Not
mind.
as much.
The
gorilla's a little bit
mafia group or gang or whatever are like silverback gorillas.
Like
but they're
an actual troop.
The one son is like has a heart of gold.
He's a piano player.
Maybe is there a snake who's also like a mafioso in that? I
don't
forget.
know. Isn't the bad guy like a fox?
Maybe they're bears.
It's like a badger. It's not like Zootopia.
It's not Zootopia. It's just like racism.
Nah.
No, like
it's like Footloose. It's more like Footloose. Everybody
they all
just
got
against
lives.
fun.
They all got hidden talents.
It's one of them. Okay, that sounds wholesome.
This person can sing. This person can dance. Like,
wait, so what animal?
I just want to be in a talent show. I'd be like, who knows? Maybe I'd be a meerkat or something, or like.
That's a good answer. I like that. Was an honest answer.
I could be a mongoose.
Hell yeah.
Okay, I like those two answers. You give me mongoose, meerkat energy. You know what I'm saying? Get some Timon on them in this game.
Yeah, do like a little robot as a mongoose. I could do that for 100 days. That's a dream come true.
You could be a rapper. Do they rap in this, or is it only like singing, or do they have?
They got fake rapping, yeah.
Maybe they had that in the sequel. I don't know. I never saw it. Like,
I like that answer.
I'll introduce it to the woodland creatures.
Wes just wants to live with rich people.
I mean, who wouldn't? Get all the creature comforts. Hell yeah.
I'm talking about actual creature comforts.
Right? Also, he's got actual creature.
All right. Let's wrap it up. We can't have 100th episode without doing a top 100 list. So we thought, well, what better list to come up with than the top 100 podcasts of all time? Brian's going to do this rapid fire because we don't want this to take 8 years, So Brian, hit us up.
Don't worry. If you got an hour free, like we'll get through this.
We manicured this list. We got it down to 100. I mean, there's thousands.
There's a lot of podcasts.
There's thousands of them out there. Maybe millions. I don't know, but
there's a new podcast every day.
And dozens
listen
of good
to all
ones.
of them.
Yeah, but we got it. We got it down to the top 100. So Brian, Lay it on us. This is going to take us out. What are the 100 episodes?
Definitive
list of the best 100 podcasts of all time.
Curated.
We're going to start with number 100, Conan Needs a Friend. Classic. Number 99, Serial.
Oh,
the
yes.
true crime podcast that started it all.
Started everything.
Number 98, the better true crime podcast, In the Dark, which is more about systemic problems in the criminal justice reform and criminal justice system.
Oh, I need to check that out.
Number 97, Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, whose actual title I can't even remember, but Malcolm Gladwell, tipping point, that dude. Number 96, Old Man and the Three, JJ Redick's podcast.
Very good.
Talk about basketball.
It's a good one.
It's a very good one.
Hearing live things from actual players.
I think that should be
and how they
higher on the
feel.
list. 96 seems a bit low.
I was
No.
the low post.
You know what's. I mean,
Oh,
when you
low post is
hear
something
what
relevant.
comes after,
All right.
you'll know that these are accurate placements.
Okay.
Number 95, Confidently Wrong.
Hey.
Yeah,
Number
we the top
95.
100 pod.
Hey.
Number 94, Confidently Wrong.
Hey.
what's
Number
up?
93,
Hey.
Confidently Wrong.
Let's
Number
go.
92, Confidently Wrong.
Go!
Number 91 to number 1, Confidently Wrong.
Number one
Motherfuckers,
show.
this is the best podcast in the world. Sexual chocolate. Give it up. 100 episodes. We going strong. Don't you forget it.
We out. Appreciate y'all. Hey, you know what I'm saying? But we couldn't have did this without y'all. Your listen, your feedback, the love, all that good stuff. So, y'all gonna keep doing y'all thing. We gonna keep doing our thing, and we gonna ride till the wheels fall off. And if they fall off, we go on the Firestone.
Yeah. Firestone.
Yeah.
Hit us up on @confidently_pod. That's Twitter. That's Instagram. I just put out a video of our last show, so maybe I'll get to do that again. We'll see.
I won't
Have a
block
good
your
one,
face.
friends. 100 episodes. Here's to 100 more. Peace.
Woo.
Bye.
Yeah.